Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever Train Effective podcast. I'm Hashir. I'm head of community here at Train Effective. Been using the app for a long time. Know a thing or two about it, even when it was back just on a notes page. And of course, we have our first ever guest that you guys might have seen around here or there, maybe. Nick Humphreys, founder, um,
Yes.
legend in these ends. Give it up
Well,
for Nick.
these titles are so formal. Head of community?
Head of community, I'm a community guy, man. The community guy, but formally it's head of community. But Nick, how are you, man? It's good to have you on.
As everyone knows, still on the grind, hustling. Just came back from a gym session. Today's that kind of light day. I'm a bit off my feet. So today was a bit like gym, some recovery stuff, foam rolling, sauna. So I just got back from that. And man, I've been thinking about this podcast since we discussed it last week about the idea. So I'm just pumped, man. I'm pumped.
I love that. And obviously you guys everybody, quick welcome to everyone who's watching. We're getting more and more people by it seems by the second. Tushar, Malcolm, everybody. If you're listening to this on Spotify, we have this
Yes.
podcast live right now. So we have live people in the chat interacting with us. Lovely. And today, to dive right into it, Nick, like I want to get into something that a lot of people can really benefit from. I think it's really asked on the Train Effective social medias everywhere. It's time management. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I struggled with this. I probably still struggle with this now. I'm not the most super disciplined person. I can admit that. And time is one of those places where I can kind of just do better on. But on the flip side, from what I've seen, you're one of the best people I've seen with time management, scheduling, and that. Um, so kind of talk me through kind of your experience when you used to train football, all those hours a day. How would you schedule your trainings? You were so busy going to school, whether it was work. Like, did you have any like specific principles? Just give it to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think let's start with motivation, right? Because getting up
Hmm.
early, being disciplined, it all starts with your motivation. You've read that book, right? Or someone got that book for you. Start with why.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Did you
yeah.
actually read it in the
Simon.
end?
Yeah.
Or no, you didn't get past the first chapter.
No, no, no. I've read it. I've read it. I read that. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I read that.
Really good book for anyone listening. Start with why by Simon Sinek. Yeah, really good book. But basically when we start with why, it's like, why get up in the morning, why get up early, why be disciplined, all starts with your why. My why always, and you know this from reading the blog in the early days, Hash, is that I wanted to play football at a high level, so I could really just prove it to myself that I could do something that I thought was impossible, and also be able to have a platform to be able to inspire others if I could progress at a high level. So that's the reason why I put so many hours in. And the second reason was like the 10,000 hour rule and reading that. Because and I shared that on the blog that I think you read, and then it kind
Yeah.
of caught on, right? Like the 10,000 hour thing. Do you want to
Yeah.
explain what the 10,000 hour rule is? Because I think like a lot of people know what it is, but they don't really
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. 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 So obviously another book that we just love reading here.
We love
Malcolm
reading.
Gladwell's Outliers. He essentially 10,000 hour rule is the people that are world class in a specific area or field. They've deliberately trained, deliberately practiced for 10,000 hours at least, and roughly what that equates to is like 3 hours a day for 10 years, something like that. And that's how much training it essentially takes to be at those top divisions in football.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, 10,000 hours, 3 hours a day, 20 hours a week. That's equivalent for 10 years, 20 hours a week for 10 years. And if you deliberately practice, I mean, you have focus, like smart practice every day, 20 hours a week, 10 years, then by the time, uh, let's say 10 years come around, you've been doing that much training, you're supposedly world class in your field. It doesn't matter if you're a footballer, you could be a grandmaster, a chess player, you could be a basketball player, you could be really be anything. But that's all stated in this book by an author called Malcolm Gladwell. And the book is called Outliers. So really recommend that you guys give that a read because it's very inspiring. But basically, this is the whole principle of how I started. I was like, yeah, if you're going to become better, you need to put in training. But how much training? Then I came across 10,000 hour rule. It's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna train 20 hours a week. And I started with maybe 10 hours. Then as my body got used to it, I progressed to 15 and then 20. And until we basically got to like, yeah, that 20-hour a week mark. And I was doing that consistently for years and years and years and got better every single week. So that's kind of the first part. It's understanding what your motivation is and then how much work you actually got to put in.
Yeah, I love that. And big thing with these 20 hours a week is I remember you used to do these, and people might not know, but you used to do these we would call it snap storms. And these, if for anybody that doesn't know, Nick would go on Snapchat and just free game. We call it free game. Business people, they call it free game, where he would just essentially detail his own trainings and how he would train and how he would schedule. And these 20 hours a week, you might think like, damn, 20 hours a week. How do I fit 20 hours a week into a week full of school, sleeping, eating, like family commitments? And for a lot of our audience, teenagers and stuff, it can seem daunting. But Nick, you've done this little breakdown before of 168 hours, I think, in a week, where you essentially broke it down like you do have much more free time than you actually think.
Dude, 100%.
Like break that down for me, because like I know what you mean by that, but a lot of people might not know, and it might be a good refresher.
Okay, guys, very simple for all you guys that say I'm too busy with school, too busy with work, all this stuff. It's
Here
blah,
we go.
blah, blah excuses. You got 168 hours in a week. Okay. By the way, I got this from a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. So this is the third book we're referencing today. So big up, like we have to kind of like, I don't know, recap all the books we've got all these ideas from. Reading is a big thing in the Train Effective community. We're going to put it in Discord or whatever. But anyway, basically 168 hours in a week, guys. 168 hours. So if you break it down, 168 hours in a week, how many hours do you use? How many hours do you sleep, Hash, at night?
Probably 7.
7?
Yeah.
A little more on the weekends, probably, right?
Yeah, like 9.
10, 11, 12. But anyway, look, okay. If you're sleeping roughly 8 hours a night, times 7, that's 56 hours a week. So if you subtract 56 from 168, that leaves you with 112 hours after sleeping to do whatever you want. Now, you could say, let's simplify it, okay? 12 hours a week is spent commuting, like going to school, or going to and from work. I don't know, showering, like in the bathroom, maybe even eating. So you got 12 hours a week for that. So after sleeping and doing all the kind of life, like basic things you need to, I don't know, to survive and like eat and all this kind of stuff, you got 100 hours in the week to do whatever you want to do. In that 100 hours, most people have school or work. That's about 40 hours a week. And guys, most of you that are at school, you guys are not concentrating 40 hours a week. Come on. Like when you're in
let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest right now.
How many hours are you actually concentrating in that class? Like actually focus and not like staring into space.
Yeah. And we're not discrediting school, but let's be honest right now with what you're doing. I know everybody got their phone under their desk in the classroom nowadays.
100%. And if your phone is banned or something, like people are writing, doodling, I don't know, talking to their friends, like they're not. Anyway, look, enough about that. But basically, let's say it's 40 hours a week of school, including homework. And then what does that leave you with? It leaves you with 60 hours to do whatever you want. And this is a whole thing. Like when people say, well, I don't got time because I got school, I got exams, I got other stuff I want to do. Let's put it in perspective this way. If you have school 40 hours a week and you got a part-time job, let's throw that in there, or you do community
Yeah.
service, or I don't know what it is. That's another 20 hours a week. So now you got 40 hours a week left to do whatever you want to do. You're sleeping 8 hours a night. If you're concentrating in school, doing 40 hours a week, you have more than enough time on average to prepare for your exams, get good grades, do whatever you need to do. So with those 40 hours, how many are you dedicating to football? So for most people that train 2 or 3 times a week, maybe have a game on the weekend, maybe it's no more than 10 hours a week. So again, you do the math, maybe now you've got 30 hours a week to do whatever you want to do. And then that's just that. It's up to you. Do you want to train extra? Do you want to hang out with your friends? Like, what do you want to do? And this is where priorities come in. This is where making no excuses come in. And this is where managing your time becomes really, really important. But what I'm saying here is it all starts with understanding like how much time you actually have. Most people just waste it.
Yeah, yeah. And it actually reminds me a lot of like goal setting actually in a way. You know, when you have like big massive goals, you break it down, you see like it's actually much simpler and more attainable. It's the same with time, where if you actually put under the microscope, we do have more time than we think we have. You know, like eating does not take us an hour or hour and a half to block out. It probably takes us like 20, 30 minutes max.
You might be
Um,
eating, having big meals, John
yeah,
Moses food.
yeah. Ooh, that's a
Not-
whole discussion. Actually, so John Moses food, and we're just gonna we gotta talk about this because nutrition.
Yes.
Um, John Moses meals are usually involve rice, an assortment of meats such as fried chicken, normal chicken, spinach chicken, um, and water to wash it all down because you have to be healthy in that. And those might take a little bit more time to eat, but that just kind of depends. And for those of you who don't know John Moses, the John Moses meal, John Moses is future head coach of Effective FC, and
Yeah,
he's a
one of the coaches at the Train Effective camps. You can follow him on
yes,
Instagram at Coach John Moses. But anyway, let's quickly get back into what we're saying.
yeah.
But yeah, your point is, yeah, it doesn't take too much time to eat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So when you were in school, because actually I'll go into it because when I was in school, I had this issue where, and this is kind of more specific one because now it's getting fall winter time. It's not sunlight until 9 p.m. It's sunlight until, let's say, I would say 5 p.m. around here. And I had school when I was in high school, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, ages 14 to 18. School was from 9 a.m. to about 4 p.m. I would get home like 4:30. It's getting dark already. What I would do, and this was where you got to get creative, I'm training before school. I'm training before school because I know after school, where I would train, they would not let me train. But before school, if I went to train at my training ground, which was my former elementary school, nobody would be there. There were lights, lamp posts that would obviously shine the light. Very similar to this actually. Right now, I'm gonna show you guys, and you'll be like, "Wow, what is that?" And Nick, can you describe what
oh
was
my
going on
days, you
here?
sound. And for those of you guys listening on podcasts, basically, Hash has put a picture up from my Instagram from December 2nd, 2015. And if I can describe the image, it's basically a ladder, two cones, and a ball under a street lamp in a park. And the caption basically reads 10:47 p.m. It's lonely, dark, and freezing. My solace is under a park lamppost where there's just enough light to run in lines and circles. I can hear the distant sounds of the city traffic. The panting of my breath gets louder as I complete every repetition. My toes feel numb. My hair is wet. The air is fresh. This feels wonderful.
Poetic.
That is very
Wow.
poetic. I didn't realize how poetic I was.
Got
Um,
J Cole part 2.0 essentially.
Exactly.
But that's actually that this picture, dark lamppost. But to be fair, that's all you really need, and that's where I would train
Mm.
before school, and it would be dark. And that's where I found in my schedule I had time because maybe in the evening homework. Yeah, everybody has homework. We understand. I would do homework after school. I would have team training after school. But what about the individual training? Make time for it. I would make my time before school, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be super long. You don't need to block out those like 5 hours or anything for team or for individual training.
No.
Um, and that's why I kind of found time before school. Now, Nick, I'm in America. I've grown up in the US. You've lived a couple different places. When you
Yep.
were in school, how did you kind of fit in individual training? Because I know for American listeners, we have school in the mornings and it's just pretty basic stuff. How about for you? What was your experience with kind of training at odd times of the day?
Yep. So it would be, I could probably list like a couple of different examples. So I would have the time before school. I would
Okay.
have the time at lunch. And the reason I count lunch is because sometimes it'd be like lunchtime football, which I'm sure all of you
Mm,
guys have played in lunchtime football. Maybe in America they play like American football, so you
yeah.
can't really, yeah. Do they play soccer? By the way, do they play soccer lunchtimes in America?
I don't know if it's changed now, but like in the movies and that you see, and even in England where they're in their uniform and running around playing football.
Yeah.
They don't do that in America. Over here, they play
Really?
American football, yeah, and they play kickball. If you know what that is,
People? What?
yeah, kickball.
Um,
Kickball is a national treasure. Um,
yeah,
I,
and for those who don't know, like I'm in Switzerland, which is in Central Europe, and if I just walk outside like literally 50 meters, every lunchtime, every morning, every day after school, there are people playing football, like kids 5 years old. And you walk a bit further, there's kids 15 years old. Like football is everywhere, and yeah, maybe that's why the US don't do so well in World Cups. But anyway, um, so yeah, what were we saying? So refresh me. We're
yeah,
saying
how did you train individually? How did you schedule that
yeah.
around your school
So
days?
like as I was saying before school, that's more how we're saying the topic. Lunch times, um, and like when you approach lunch times, by the way, like it's a good opportunity, guys. Like you can try a lot of things in lunchtime football that then you can apply like when you go to your proper team training or your proper
Mm,
games where it might be a bit more serious. Like lunchtime footballs and the street stuff, like that's where you can be creative.
that's
Raheem
that's that's
Hash, you
deep.
can name about 16 examples, I'm sure, but like Raheem Sterling, a lot of Dutch players, like
Yeah.
Brazilian players, they're all like street ballers. They played on the streets all the time. That's why they're so creative with the ball. That's why they can manipulate the ball so well. They're just street ballers, street ballers.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
and that's because of that creative freedom they would have at lunchtime. So don't discredit lunchtime, is what I'm saying. So lunchtimes we got when I have study hall, like
Wow.
study, yeah, maybe that's for the older kids, but like when I was 17, 18, when I had study hall, which is like when you have a break during like in your schedule for school, and then you like use the field or whatever. And then obviously you got after school, you got before trainings, you got after team trainings, and you got just evenings in general. So I think these are the kind of ways you can work it around if you're like in school, for example.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's you say that and there's I mean it kind of makes me realize as well. It refreshes my mind like there is a lot of opportunity to just use the ball, man. Like just get on the ball and get as many touches as you can because it doesn't like training is great, but like actually playing actually playing, like it doesn't have to be limited to like just team training and individual training. Like you can
Yeah.
play with your friends during lunch or whatever the case might be. But now let's get a bit even deeper if I can.
Deep.
Say it's lunchtime. Say it's before I don't know team training and the teams are training on the pitch and you can't get on the pitch because these other teams are on the pitch. That's what they sometimes in America you have to wait for the other teams to get off to train. You don't have a lot of space. You only have a ball what can you still train then? Like, can you still do that without a goal? Because I hear it a lot. I heard it a lot when I was in my teens. You need a goal. You need a feel. I need the lines on the field. I need the lines on the pitch. And I would just be like,
Man, excuses.
um, I kind of want to talk to me about the Anywhere workout, Nick, because I know when you created this workout with John Moses created this
Yeah.
workout, and you guys on the app, on the Train Effective app, shameless plug. If you don't have the Train Effective app, download that. There's the Anywhere workout. There's a couple of them. With
Yeah.
these, can you kind of go through these for the podcast listeners? What are these, and why should they be used in these situations
What
where you don't have a lot of
the
space?
hell is the Anywhere workout? What does that mean? And we got the picture on the screen.
Yeah.
By the way, Caleb Corky in the chat says excuses, and this is a thing. Can we highlight that comment, because
highlight
this is what we're talking
that.
about. See, Caleb, look, I hope we see you in the Discord. By the way,
Yeah.
I'd like to connect with this guy. He knows what he's. Anyway, look. Yes, is it possible to train without a field, without goals? As the example in the picture we showed with me under the streetlights training, yes, of course it's possible. It's just about making no excuses. It's not about making excuses. Back to the 10,000 hour rule and what we we're talking about earlier in the show, like, guys, it's about the math. Like, you need to put in the work or you won't reach your full potential. And so if you want to put in the work, you gotta make no excuses. You gotta use what you have around you. Not everyone has access all the time to great fields. Some people are affected by the weather. Some people are affected by, I don't know, their parents or their work, and they have time constraints. But there's always ways. Oh, in the snow. Hash, can you just describe what's on the screen as well?
Yeah. So it's another iconic picture of Nick. He is training, and it's a bunch of snow. He's training. It looks like he's doing a magic, like a tight space dribbling drill. And there's so much snow you can barely see the ball, but he's training. Nick is training with his boots on in the snow.
Of the house, like I was saying.
There's chairs falling over in the back.
The person we rented it from, my family rented it from, the guy was very mad that I ruined the grass, but no excuses.
Yeah, so that picture, I remember I seen that many years ago, and I mean, you might think like, oh, it's snowing outside, like,
yeah.
And I'm not gonna tell everybody like, oh, like, go train in the snow, but like the people that want it that bad, that people that really want to train and improve and take advantage when other people are resting, they'll train in the snow. I've trained in the snow. Nick, you've trained in the snow, and that picture is, I think, a perfect example of like, mate, like, nobody cares about your excuses. Only you care about your excuses. Everybody else is just gonna do what they're gonna do and improve or do whatever. So I love that, and I don't know. I think, Nick, especially nowadays with with social media and that, we see a lot of like professional footballers. Yes, some of them like run their social media accounts with like lots of pictures, but some of them just have a few pictures up, which is them, I don't know, celebrating after a goal or boot deal, like Adidas, like all in. And it's like nobody really sees like the Monday through Monday actually that they put in to kind of get there. And professional footballers, they also have like schedules where they have to schedule around. And I think one thing that you're kind of alluding to is put like a championship routine in place, like get really good at scheduling things, because being erratic, at least in my experience, because I've done this before, being erratic is, pardon the pun, but it's not effective. Like, no. you obviously you're the founder of Train Effective, like you have a lot that you have going on as well. So the importance of scheduling, do you think you would be where you are today, whether it's football or whatever it is, if you were more erratic and didn't schedule things?
What is that? What's the answer going to be to that?
Well, I want you to explain it, because a lot of people do go like, you know what, like figure out as you go.
Well, first of all, there's a long way to go. So making it here today, look, we're just at the start of this whole journey, but
Mm.
that's a different thing. That's for another podcast. But anyway, is it possible to be erratic? I mean, I just, I think everybody has their own way. My way is being, is working backwards and thinking, what is my goal? What is it I want to achieve? And what kind of work is it gonna take to get to that goal?
Ooh.
And if you're very ambitious, if you have big, high goals, they're very unrealistic goals that, like, you're gonna have to put a hell of amount of work, which your friends and your family might think, "Wow, that guy's crazy," or "That girl's crazy." But actually, that's the amount of work, the sacrifice, the kind of attention that you need to do in order to achieve this big, like, lofty goal, ambitious goal that you may have. And a lot of that time, that can't just be achieved by being erratic and spontaneous with, well, maybe today I'll train. Oh no, because Hash, life happens.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you,
I was hoping you'd touch on that.
life happens, man.
Yeah.
Like I can think of like loads of different things that could have stopped me today from training, but like if you have homework or if you have work and it takes you longer than expected, maybe you slept late, so then your day starts later, or like all these kind of things. If you don't plan, then like you're just gonna let life attack you basically.
Yeah.
You're not attacking life.
Yeah.
You're letting the things that happen in your life basically dictate you, and this is where it can really conflict with your goals and the amount of work that you need to like achieve them. So yeah, long story short, right? Very disciplined. I have a set of tasks I need to do every single day. And I need to do them before a set time, or I got a punishment. That's my thing.
Punishment.
So
That's an interesting one.
yeah, should I touch upon it, or are we going into that?
So no, like punishment. It's an interesting one.
Punishment.
I think you should kind of elaborate on that because this is a
Okay.
powerful thing. I need you guys to listen up right now because this
Guys,
is important.
this will change your life. Like, if you're still scrolling on freaking TikTok and Instagram, just stop. Close your phone. Like, this is very important because just doing this from today, literally doing this from today, the end of tomorrow, you'll be like, oh, I need to do this every single day. It's really simple, okay? The night before you go to bed, list out the key things that you need to do the next day to have the best day possible. So for you, that could be, do your training. It could be finish this assignment that you've been putting off for a long time. If you're working, it could be, I don't know, having that, doing that report for your boss, whatever it is. Like, all those things that you've been putting off, all the things you've been doing, like, write them down that you're going to do these by a certain time tomorrow. And if you don't do them, you got a punishment. And literally, what I literally do, Hash, you know this, I literally write it on a piece of paper or in the notes in my phone, and I literally sign it.
Yeah.
And I say, if I don't do these tasks by 5 p.m. tomorrow, I got myself 100 push-ups.
It's like a contract.
Yeah, I've done. And look, I could talk about stories where once I did 500 push-ups, and it was in front of a homeless guy, in front of like the supermarket.
What?
And yeah, I had a real deep chat with the homeless. Like, he just got out of jail. It was kind of outside of the convenience store. He was asking for money, and I was doing my push-ups in front of the store. Yeah, it's a really embarrassing story, but like, okay, just to give you guys that example, the reason why I did that,
yeah, get into it.
it was because there was a day where I was really not motivated to go to the gym, and I knew I knew the night before, if I didn't tell myself I need to get to the gym by 9 a.m. on the dot, like sharp, then I'm doing this punishment, which no one ever wants to do. 500 push-ups in front of this convenience store. Like, there's people, moms and dads and kids and stuff. They're walking in and out of this busy convenience store. Like it's something you never want to do, right? Why would you?
I could picture it. Yeah.
Yeah. Picture that. You never want to do that. So of course you're going to get to the gym. I didn't get to the gym at 9 o'clock. I got to the gym at like 9:05. And I was like, okay, crap. So after the gym workout, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this 500 push-ups. And I literally went in front of the convenience store. I put a towel down on the pavement. Next to me was this like guy asking for money, and he was just waiting in front of the store. And I did my push-ups in sets of 10, 20, 30, and I made sure like I couldn't cheat, and I was there for at least half an hour.
Yeah.
And people were looking at me like, what the hell? Like, what is this guy doing? I did have a chat with her. Yeah, but to put this in proper perspective, guys, like you guys might look at that a little bit crazy. For me, that's my way of staying disciplined and actually completing the things that I set out to.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that, and the power of that is, I'm guessing you never did those push-ups at the supermarket again when you challenge yourself to, when that was your punishment again. You probably hit the gym.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nick.
So the 500 push-ups thing was in Australia in like summertime, and then I think about maybe 6 months later, I had the same kind of thing. Same thing. Like I need to get to the gym by this time, where I got push-ups. I think it was like 100 push-ups this time, but it was in front of the weight rows in near the Effective House in London, and someone was with me from the team.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did do it again, but yeah, like I remember the Weight Rose. Weight Rose is a supermarket, by the way, in the UK. And the person was like came out, looked at me, and asked if everything was okay. Anyway, these are the kind of punishments, guys. Do have some sort of punishment that scares you, that you really don't want to do. This is what scared me, even if I did repeat it twice. And this is kind of my discipline system. So
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's a good way to keep yourself honest as well, where like we will do more to, and this is a universal thing, Nick, you're probably familiar, we'll do more to humans, we'll do more to avoid pain than to achieve something in essence. So if you make a, maybe not a deadly punishment, but like if you make a punishment like that, if you're really afraid, like, you know, like social situations or big crowds, then set that punishment as, I'm gonna promise myself, or I'm gonna have my best friend take me to the supermarket and do the push-ups, whatever it might be. And there's two options there. You'll do the workout, or you'll get to the gym, or whatever it is, or you'll have to face all these people and embarrass yourself.
And Hash, that's the thing about these punishments. Like, okay, it's pretty embarrassing to do push-ups in front of all these people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, did anything bad happen? No. If anything, you really build your confidence in these situations where people might be looking and staring at you and thinking, what is this guy doing? However, Hash, that is exactly the kind of mentality you need if you're going to be more confident. If you're going to do things that other people say, oh, he's crazy, or, you know, he's not like us, or whatever, she's not like us. This is what you need to do. Period.
Yeah. So it's layers to it. It's layers to it. I love that.
Serious.
Damn, Nick. See, like, this guy
So
has like.
this is what we want to do with this podcast. This is why me and Hash was so excited about doing this, because like there's just so many stories we can tell, so many things that are happening and will happen, that if you guys just listen to this, if you watch this, like you will always learn one or two things you can apply immediately. And this whole discipline thing, guys, please, like whatever you're thinking about that you want to do tomorrow, literally write it down right now. Like pause this podcast, stop this video, whatever, write down the 3 things that you want to achieve tomorrow by X time. If you don't, give yourself a punishment, sign it to yourself. I promise you, you'll be looking back, you know, tomorrow and being like, oh wow, this actually works.
Yeah.
So simple. You just got to do it.
100%. We're more likely as humans to like do things when we write them down as well. So multiple benefits here. That's actually something, Nick, I've taken up probably in the past couple months on like, because I'm in college right now as well, so lots of things going on. I have a sticky notes app on my desktop. I'll just write everything I need to get done on there, strike through, cross them off as they're getting done, and it's just more organized. And I think for some people, Nick, maybe the hurdle is actually they've got a lot going on, and then that's where their excuse the time stems from. But when you organize it, write it down, it's much easier.
Yeah.
So
But we all got stuff going on, and of course some people have more stuff than others. Like some people have really difficult, I don't know, family situations. They have to take care of their mom or their dad, and I don't like that stuff can be tough. Some people, maybe they're like a bit depressed, or they're like in kind of a bad mental state, and
Yep.
I also fully relate with that stuff and empathetic to all that. However, still, sometimes you got to just put things in a box and say, look, there's stuff I can't control in my life. I got to put that in the box. I got to focus what I can control. If you can focus on what you can control, like big things can happen. I'm not saying be as extreme as me and do 500 push-ups or whatever, or train 20 hours a week. It all starts the smallest step, and it starts with maybe that 1 hour extra training that you do, or that one small thing, So break it down.
Yeah.
That's
And
how you build confidence in the end.
100%, and not just on the pitch confidence,
Yeah.
off the pitch as well. And you'll be
Yeah.
surprised how much off the pitch confidence will translate to on the pitch confidence.
Well, that's what team effective is all about. Like
Yep.
full potential, man. Not just in football, in life. These are some life. I can't tell you guys. Like everyone wants to be a professional footballer and reach these goals. Yes, these things can happen. But oh my God, the things that you actually learn from what I'm saying, or in the Train Effective app, or the camps, or whatever Hash is saying, like this is life.
I'm smiling. So I'm podcast listeners. I'm
Forever.
smiling. I'm
Forever.
yeah, exactly.
Where's this guy who said excuses? Can you not say forever? This is a forever thing.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm podcast listeners. I'm smiling because I think a lot of these principles and values, they do spill over, and that's why we kind of preach some of the things we do, because like being a great footballer, being the best footballer you can possibly become, it's great, it's amazing. But when you're 45 years old and 50 years old, whatever you're doing in life, we want you to be able to apply these things and internalize these and just kill it in whatever forever. And that's why time management is such a big thing. And I was thinking all last week, for everybody listening, I was like, man, we want to do a podcast, and what topic can we really like kind of hit people with? Like we can talk about like the benefits of training speed.
Yeah.
And that's great, but we all know the benefits of that. But something more holistic and over encompassing is time management and discipline. And Nick, you kind of just hit the nail on the head there. And kind of yeah, there you go. To kind of to wrap it all, tie it all together. What's kind of when you used to schedule your training sessions? Back when you
still do,
still scheduling them, but when you schedule your training sessions, what's the biggest lesson you learned when everything, you got so much going on in your life, when you're in school, even now, whatever you're doing? What's the biggest kind of lesson you've learned from getting organized and scheduling things?
The biggest lesson that I've learned from scheduling things.
Yeah, it's a deep one.
It is a deep one. I have to think about it real quick. Well, I know the biggest thing that I learned is that it actually leads to results. And the thing about scheduling, can we use a synonym? That's how you say it, right? A synonym to scheduling, or a similar, let's say, result. I don't know what the word is, but basically what I'm saying is scheduling means discipline, and building discipline means building confidence. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the whole thing with scheduling. That's a deep thing. If we want to talk deep, that's a deep thing about scheduling, is if you can have a schedule and you actually are disciplined enough to stick with it, that's how you slowly build confidence. Because progress doesn't happen in hours or days. It doesn't even happen in weeks, especially with something like football. It takes weeks, it takes months, it takes years. I mean, it's a forever game, and there's always something to improve. And that's why the thing with scheduling is that you always got to stay consistent with it. You always got to plan ahead, because if you have team training, let's say 5 times a week, you can't go hard when you you can't go really hard when you do your individual sessions, right? So this is where planning and scheduling comes in place. And if you want to treat yourself like a pro footballer or one of the high level players too, they all have schedules. So why don't you schedule in the same way if you really do want to go reach your full potential?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Nick, have you seen the speaking of schedules and punishments?
Yeah.
Have you seen? I think it swirls on social media. The Chelsea and I think other clubs done it too, where if players are late to training or late to the training pitch, or have you
Yeah.
seen that with the
Yeah.
punishments? What was that? Can you? I don't remember
So
exactly.
basically, if you type in Google, and we've shared this on our Instagram and TikTok before. Basically, if you type in Google, Chelsea team fines or Arsenal team fines, like you'll see in the images, basically what comes up is a list of the fines, first team player fines, if they show up late for training, if they fail to report for training, if they, I mean, Hash, I don't know if you brought it up. Do you see more?
Actually, let's actually throw this
Let's throw this on the
on the
screen right now.
screen.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Late for medical appointments. Wow.
Yeah.
Phone ringing during team meal or meeting, £1,000. What?
Phone ringing.
Oh wow! Look at this one. Refusal or not turning up for corporate/community duties.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're like due at I don't know, a community event or a hospital or something,
Yeah.
like and they don't come up, £5,000.
Oh, here we go. Like I've actually skipped this one, but if you go further, in the bottom half of this picture that we got up on the screen, it says all players must also adhere to the following internal rules: body composition targets to be met, fines for failure to be in the target range. So basically, what they're saying here, guys, is like if your body composition, simple example of this is like your body fat percentage,
Yeah,
or your BMI is not where the team wants you to be, you'll get a fine. So that basically is encouraging you to take care of your diet. Um, this is interesting.
yeah. They have
Yeah,
even the guests. Any guests at the training ground need to be they need to be approved
yeah,
a day before.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
so
guys. Like,
interesting.
and this is why if you ever meet a professional footballer or someone playing high level and stuff, you'll always see like in their demeanor, they're usually very punctual, very punctual, very on time, very alert, very kind of always wanting to know, okay, what's the next task, what's the next activity, what's the next action point, because that's so ingrained in their mentality. And this is what this Chelsea first team internal finds illustrates, which, coming back to the point why discipline is so important, schedule your stuff, schedule it.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of a final thing on the fines and that. I remember you guys probably know who Aubameyang is last season.
Mm.
And this and like
Okay,
I
guys,
guess
Hash is an Arsenal supporter.
yeah. Exactly. So I well know about this. Last season in March we played Tottenham, so everybody knows massive game. This is club captain Aubameyang.
Yeah,
Before the match, it was leaked that he's not going to start. And everybody was like, what? Like, how is he not starting? This club captain, talisman. And it came out after the game that he was late. He was late to the stadium. Not
really.
late to like warm ups or anything, just late to the team bus or something like that. And and because of that, no matter the stature of the game,
Yeah,
Arteta, he said, "No, you're not starting. You're not even involved. He didn't even play that match. He wasn't even involved actually." So we did win the game. We did end up winning the match, but it goes to show that at that level, like it doesn't matter who you are. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people like to say politics, this and that, but at like high schools here and there, but like at that level, it doesn't matter who you are. You have to abide by certain things and
Mm.
have that discipline about you to, I don't know, whatever it is, leave early or
Mm.
whatever you have to do.
Guys, like, and I'm in Switzerland, right? So Switzerland, Swiss watches and like they're here, like everything runs by the minute, by the second. So if you're like a second or like you're a minute late, like people are really Like they get really mad. Like they take it personally. And that applies to the teams as well. Like if you're a few minutes late, if you're not early, then people start raising eyebrows. Especially for everything, but definitely at the higher levels of football. I've had this experience because I'm Australian. You know, Australians are, I wouldn't say always on time, Australians. But I remember this one time, this was not in Switzerland, it was actually in Holland. I remember one time I was like maybe 1 minute late to when we were supposed to be there for a match. So I think I was late with the bus or the train or something. No excuses still, but I was like a minute late. And I was supposed to start the match. I got dropped because I was at 1 minute late. But hey, fair play. The coach should have dropped me. I should be there 15 minutes early at least.
Yeah.
So
yeah. 1 minute even. Wow.
Even 1 minute. It's just like, think about it. If you're late 1 minute, then what does that say to the coach? Like, where's your head at? Like, if you're leaving everything to the last minute, where's your head at? Like, are you there? Are you focused? Are you, did you go out the night before? Are you really taking this seriously if you can't even be there like early or be there on time? So and then it translates to the match. Maybe you're going to be slow to the ball. You're going to not pay attention to tactics. Like all these kind of things, it matters.
Yeah.
It matters.
Wonderful. Yeah. Love that. Well done, Nick. And yeah, guys, kind of the message we're trying to tell you all. Be disciplined. Stay disciplined. Schedule things and put that routine in place, and just be effective. Just stay effective as always. Stay effective as always. Nick, obviously we have your Instagram right there at Nick Humph.
Yeah, Hash, I know you're trying to wrap it up. I want to say something real quick because I think it's very important, and we've glossed over it a little bit. Yep. But and this is shameless plug again, but all these things that we're talking about, including the Anywhere workout, including the scheduling, it's all in the app. It's all in the Training app. Like we work, or I work, you a little bit less, but I work every single day with the team on working on the app and new features and stuff. And one of those things that we've worked on a lot recently is the scheduling feature, which you even missed yourself. So I think it's a good moment. I don't want to do shameless plugs and promotion, actually. Because the Train Effective app these days is free for those of you who don't know, especially YouTube community, because it used to be only a paid thing. Now we've made it free and
free.
Yeah, you can get premium if you want, but it's only if you want. But we've spent a lot of time the last 3 months on the app, like working a lot on the scheduling features. So if you download and you look at the app these days, there's a progress tab. And in the progress tab, it's a second tab from the left in the app on the Train Effective app. If you go on the progress tab, you can now see, and you click on the calendar icon, you can now see your 30-day schedule, 30-day calendar. And so you can plan your workouts and everything in advance, see the days when you've trained and not trained and stuff like that. There's like little indicators and bubbles. If you guys don't know about that, go on the progress thing, click on the calendar. It's sometimes easy to miss, but if you click on the calendar and the date, like this thing will pop up because a lot of people are missing it, yourself included, right, Hash?
Yeah. And this is for everybody, not just free. This is free. Like everybody can do this.
Yeah.
Love that. And I mean, you want to talk about scheduling things, like you can, if you know you have a test next week, or if you have to study on X, Y, and Z days, schedule around it. And that's, I think, the premise of why the planner is there, why the activity scheduler is there. So ahead of time you can see, okay, I need to do this day, this day, and even the content of your trainings. Maybe you want to work on. There you go. It's on the screen for podcast listeners.
Guys,
maybe you want to.
By the way, if you can't see this because you're podcasting, it's Hash in the middle of the screen. If you actually download you guys might have missed this. If you download the app and you go on the progress screen, the person in the middle is actually Hashir.
Yeah, that's me.
We have to change that.
Top bins scoring top bins at a camp in London, which you guys should check out as well. But love that, Nick. I love that scheduling thing.
This is what we're referring to, by the way, the calendar. Yeah, that's on the. I mean, it looks freaking great, man.
Yeah.
If I can say so myself. We worked a lot on it, but I think it's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, great stuff there. Love that. And go and schedule everything. I know the people watching this, Tushar, I see you. I know you schedule things. You busy lad, always training. So get
Yeah.
scheduling, stay disciplined, and obviously incorporate those punishments as well, because it's a really effective way to follow through on the things that you are scheduling. Because sometimes when you wake up, that pillow is so soft, Nick. I know you know this. The pillow is so soft at 6 a.m. 5 a.m. The sheets, they just seem warmer. Everything seems warmer and nicer at 6 a.m. But that's
Can
where
we
you
do
gotta drive
can we
through.
do one last tip for those of you guys who really have trouble waking up early?
Yeah.
It's
Let's hear
such
it.
a
Let's hear
simple
it.
tip. It'll be
Let's hear
very
it.
short,
Yeah.
right? You guys, listen. If you have trouble waking up early, just listen. Go to sleep earlier. It's really that simple. Like, people go to bed at like midnight and then they wonder why they can't wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. because you haven't slept enough. Go to sleep at 9 or go to sleep at 8. Go to bed at 10 if you want to wake up at 6, at least 8 hours. Whatever you need to do. It's just a discipline. Again, coming back to the topic of this whole thing, just discipline. Just
Yeah.
discipline.
Yeah.
10 p.m. get in bed. Don't I don't know, FaceTime, Snapchat, iMessage your friends until like midnight because you don't you can talk to them tomorrow, man. You
Yeah.
can
You'll be shocked how much time flies on the phone right
Yeah,
before bed.
exactly.
Perfect. Love that, Nick. Listen, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you as always. All that value that you've just given everybody, and myself included. I need to incorporate some of these things. I'm not perfect by any sense. None of us are. So love that. Everybody, obviously, if you want to connect with Nick further, Instagram at Nick Humph, NickHumph. Myself, I'm Hashir Khan. Definitely stole that inspiration from Nick
Yeah.
many years ago in my Instagram username.
Wow.
And we'll link it below in the description of the podcast and YouTube. We'll put on the description below.
We're always reading DMs, guys, by the way. I'm always reading DMs at least. Maybe you're too
Yes.
popular hash these days. I don't know.
No. I always read the DMs.
Yeah.
So guys, feel free to message, connect, all those things. We'll link a few things below for you to check out. Listen, had a lot of fun, Nick. Any last words? Any last words for the effective fam?
I know what you want to say. Those 2 words.
Yeah, 3,
Can we
2,
sync it? Can we sync
1.
it together?
Yeah,
Wait,
3,
wait, wait.
2.
Can we do a 3, 2, 1? Yeah. Go
Yep.
on.
3, 2, 1. Stay
Stay
effective.
effective.
Wonderful. Take care,
Boom.
everybody.
Peace, guys.